Hello, welcome to the beautiful Boise State Esports Arena. We're here, we are closing out on week number 8, the final week, the last stand for Idaho High School's championship series here coming up. And like I said, going into week 8, we have first going off Boise High School versus Jerome High School. Two teams that, by my understanding, are pretty good standings, especially Boise State having standings not only in Overwatch, but also in the other games that we're covering as well. So, as always, I'm your host, Colin McDrunken, and joining me today is, wow, I blanked her name, Audrey. I'm so sorry for that. But moving on, Audrey, I'll make sure to commit that memory. Week 8 going into it, these teams need to forget a couple vital things. What do you think those are moving forward?
I think going forward, because after all, right after this, it's going to be playoffs and then going into the final tournament. So something that you want to not lose grip on is, even if you're not doing the best in the standings, just continuing to work on your skills and paying attention to the other teams. Having the knowledge of what to expect going into a match is probably one of the most important things you can do pre-game. And so it gives you such a good advantage to just kind of understand the opponents you're going up against, especially going into playoffs in the final areas. I mean, after all, you only really get one chance at that point. So,
Yeah, definitely. And then they go into, after this week, then they initially go into the process of seeding, and then from there they plan to the playoffs, and then from there the tournament going forward. But as much as our advice it's to stand, we have some better advice for you, which in Doc's Keys to the Game, which in Overwatch 5v5 format, obviously. Position your supports. Tank and DPS need to move together. Know the new cooldowns, and tempo wins maps, which tempo is obviously different from just clicking a button and charging into the team. And Doc's Keys to the Game are brought to us by Dropping Gaming. Dropping Gaming is the premier online platform for gamers to seek competition, play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through feed and paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Dropping Gaming has the right games and competition for you. To begin a competitive journey, sign in at dropingaming.com. Getting right into the first matchup, but first we're going to take a look at the standings for Overwatch 2 in the regular season. We have Meridian Tech and Jerome being the higher standing ones, and you know, these are two teams, like I sort of mentioned. Boise High having really good standings in Overwatch and I believe Valorant, and decent ones in Rocket League, but Jerome standing undefeated so far. So they got a little chip on, not chip on shoulder, but they got something to hold on to here. They want to go undefeated and, you know, probably have the chance to steal Meridian Technical's #1 spot.
yeah, no, going forward, both of these teams have pretty similar standings overall, so it'll be interesting to see how this match ends up going for them with that.
Getting right into it. The start of it, the first map we're going to see is Ilios. Boys behind the blue, Jerome in the red. In my opinion, a lot more of the pressure's on Jerome for Jerome because, you know, they have the undefeated record, and it's sort of one of the things you almost need to not think about.
Increasing altitude.
So ready.
Yeah, I
you're just going to
agree.
end up messing yourself up mentally, and, you know, you need to worry about just beating the team at hand, not maintaining an undefeated record.
Yeah, although being undefeated is good, that then can add some pressure, which you can already see might be putting a little bit too much on them, as they already have 2 players defeated on point here. Prestige and Patronian taken out.
Completely different comps in the terms of the way they're handling this. Boise State, Boise High, sorry about that. Ends up having a hamster as their main tank, while Jerome's going for a little bit more of a brawl. With the Reinhardt and the Reaper going here. Reaper just sit in the back line though, as a heal and a DPS and the tank go down.
Yeah, it looks
First
like
turn to
Boise
scrappy
High.
fight.
Yeah, Boise High is able to push up a little bit here, keep Jerome off the point. It's going to be really helpful going forward. They definitely picked a much more mobile setup here with Lucio, Farah, Hammond. Like, they're set up to move around really quick, which seems to be really effective against Jerome High right now. We've got
the bowl pull here. Waiting for it. The Immortality comes out.
a
They're
nice spot.
saving somebody. Ooh, but your Reaper's still going to go down. Outgunned here by DPS. They're able to take it out in range.
Ooh, Ryan gets the Hanzo, which is going to help clear the way for Jerome a little bit here. Oh, Hammond has his ult. He's been able to charge it up. He's going to activate it and try and catch people, but he's not able to land it in the way he wants to. He does take out the Hanzo again, though. Starts to make some waves, but just not enough pressure yet on Boise High here.
Yeah, immediately the Mind's going to get one. The Baby's going to get another one here. G-Baby.
Yeah, Jerome High has just not been able to gain control of the point. Anytime they start to make some headway, an ult comes out from Boise High, allowing them to gain better control.
Yeah, when you have a pharmacy composition there, it's going to be pretty deadly, especially when you don't really have a DPS that's being enabled to take them out. Pharmacy is just a difficult combo to get rid of anyway.
Yeah.
The only real way to do it is get rid of the Mercy, but the Mercy's so evasive and elusive. Ooh. The ult comes out from Farah.
Oh, Ryan tries to use his ult to save him, but unfortunately is not able to. Boise High just kind of cleaning up the field to get out of overtime. They've got a couple players on Jerome High's side that are managing to hang on, but the Hammond switching to Doomfist is making things a lot easier for Boise High here, with Lucio trying his best. But it's not going to be enough.
Yeah, not able to get through with it. And that is going to be Boise High getting there. That Ryan might have gotten a last-second touch possibly, but more than anything, that probably was that was most definitely the end of it, whether or not that Ryan got there or not.
Yeah, no. Yeah, you can see here, too.
A little bit of replay here. I really do think Boise High had a major advantage in terms of composition, simply because for Jerome having a Reaper and then having the Hanzo, you're not really able to deal with the DPS there on the side of Boise High. And the DPS were definitely doing their job, as well as the, I'm going to mainly attribute to the Hammond, because the Hammond was primarily the threat, being an annoying backline character that did their job.
Yeah, the Hammond and the Farah did a lot for Boise High because they were able to just deal with the Rhine really effectively, and getting Rhine out of the way makes a lot of team comps struggle. So I think that was effective, and it looks like they're going to stay on the Doomfist, though, for Boise High. Try to fight over here. There's a lot of Jerome players, though. Ryan is able to take out Moira. Getting rid of one of the supports is really helpful. Iggs is going to chase after the Reaper, get some good damage on from the middle, but Jerome does manage to take the middle and gain control of the field. It's contested now. Battle of the tanks, but he's not able to hang on. Looks like Jerome is not going to be able to get that lead like they wanted there.
It's Boise High, cap of the point first off here, and the whole team, everyone but the Doomfist, TP is on to high and ground here. Jerome making some changes here off the Ash, switching to a Drunk Rat here. I guess this Sim could be an issue if you let this beam get to level 3 here, which it's already very charged and doing a lot of damage in the backline, but drops the low ground here. It's going to get punished. Probably going to end up losing, that fight. And Jerome having a 2-people advantage, but their tank's pretty low.
Yeah. The supports are trying their best right now, but they cannot stand against just all of the fire on Ryan there. With Jerome trying to hang on, they do get into the middle a little bit, but with the Doomfist still active on Boise High State, they're struggling quite a bit. Oh, and it looks like an ult comes out. And another ult.
Ooh.
Boise High using their ults right now to just clean up. Ryan is back, but it's not really going to save that Reaper.
Yeah, getting the stagger here. This Ryan coming into this fight so early, trying to get there desperately when the team started losing, it might have almost been better to just pull out that point. And that's going to be Boise High keeping on to, even though they go down initially in the fight, losing 2 people, it's what's Boise High's Doomfist, and the Sim and the Mercy were just able to hold it out to the very end. Keep it alive, and now Boise High has quite a bit of ults on their side that could help sway the fight, even if Jerome pops there.
Ooh. Oh, the stun on Ryan. That never feels good.
Maybe gets one.
Oh.
Shatter gets committed as well. It's not going to get the Doomfist, though. Completely negates that ult for the Ryan. They're not able to punish anybody, and just being put to the absolute brink of it all. There was no final touch being able to commit by anybody. So that's gonna be Boise High. They're gonna be able to take the first map. Dropping Games is a pure online platform for gaming seek competition. Play favorite games, win cash, and prize through free to paid entry matches and tournaments. Whether you're new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Dropping Gaming is the right games to competition for you. To begin your competitive journey, go ahead and sign up at dropingaming.com. First map, Ilios. That's going to be Boise taking it pretty handily to Jerome there. Jerome felt like both times they're not only as a team, but also their comp just could not keep up with Boise High's composition as well.
Yeah, I think that the compositions that they had were pretty good, but they struggled with the flexibility of the compositions of the other team. I mean, when we were looking at Boise High, first game, super mobile picks for pretty much everything. And so I think the way that they were playing just did not really mesh well against it. And so going into King's Fall here, it'll be interesting to see if they change it up, which it looks like they do, switching from Ryan to Winston, which will be interesting to see if that gives them a little bit of an edge here against Sigma, which is not surprising for King's Fall.
5, 4.
Yeah, I would like to see how they roll out here a little faster and how exactly they're going to support their Winston out the gate here. But Boise High also having a pretty deadly comp. Jerome's going to be able to deal with this Bastion. They might be able to close it out, but the Sim also going to be an issue if they're not able to deal with it and, sort of make sure when you see these turrets, get rid of the turrets. But it's a big thing that most DPS and the tanks need to deal with. But automatically going with the trade here, that's Candy Pop going down. Ooh. Or that's only one healer's down on the side of Boise High.
See, Winston is hanging on a lot better than Ryan was previously, but without a lot of backup, he has to retreat, try and heal up. But his Mercy is taken out, and so is Winston. Ooh. Just like before, Boise High is able to kind of rout Jerome right after they seem to get some headway.
There's a lot of damage potential on this side of Boise High's team. Switch off the Bastion too, so it looks like they're acknowledging that they're gonna have to go for a little bit more of a brawl type. This Winston's gonna jump into their lines. They're gonna have to dispatch it very quickly if they want to make sure they don't gain free space. But if this Junkrat ends up landing a few lucky shots, it could be the turn of a fight. But Eggs is gonna find one immediately in the trade there. Just double trades back and forth so far.
Boise High pushing into the little hallway over here, trying to take them out. Just trying to keep them as close to their spawn as possible right now, which they're doing effectively. Sigma now has his ult. Another great way to lock him down with Ana close behind. Having that boost is going to be really nice. Ooh, Reaper mowing down the Rhine.
Charge in there, the Reaper's in trouble, gets the heal, the big purple comes out. Graviton Surge also committed as well. Gets the tank, Cow Power is now down. And the Junkrat's low, but the Rez gets committed. So does Valkyrie get committed as well on the set of Jerome.
Lucio pushing a little bit forward. His team right now.
Oh, wow. Yeah, this fight's overexcited, boys. Both of their supports went down in that tire ult. Milk able to get one, but it's not enough.
Supports being out of the way is allowing Jerome to make some really good headway here, with just kind of the Reaper hanging on, but they're able to push and keep him back. Sigma now trying to hang out in the hallway. This is going to give Jerome their first really good push.
Wow,
they get the chance, but the Nano! Oh my gosh.
Valkyrie gets committed as well. The contest, they're fully fighting for this, and they end up getting the tank. This could turn the tide of the fight. Oh. But Death Blossom gets committed as well. Graviton Surge comes out.
Oh my gosh.
The Reds comes out, but the Mercy sure dies here and able to get two.
Oh my goodness. Ryan's pushed out. They're all pushed out with a team kill for Boise High. They really didn't want Jerome to get that point.
Yeah.
I think how many ults were committed there? With Sigma's and let's see, Sigma, Mercy, Ana at least, right?
Yeah, I think at least those three, but those are absolutely necessary because if you can chew off as much time here and you have a contest and you think it, there's no point not to do it, especially on this map right here of Hybrid. Shadow gets committed and it gets almost everybody.
That's a really good one. Unfortunately, he's not really able to follow up on it there, though, gets taken out. Boise High setting up, takes out another player, still holding strong on this point.
Yep.
Only 15 seconds left for Jerome, too.
They do have beat, so if they're able to entry with beat fast enough, they could get in here. If the speed boost and the beat's committed just in time, but they only have 5 seconds here.
And
Beat
there
gets
they go.
committed. You've got to touch the point. They will get a touch here in the first couple of seconds, but how long will they be able to last? Because beat's effectively gone for all the characters. They get the trade, but their tank's down and trade for a DPS. The DPS gets revived. The Reaper's trying to keep it alive, trying to fight the Sigma, not able to do it. G-Baby gets one more. Milk gets the Reaper on the other side, and now it's just down to 2 supports. And it's just not able to happen for the side of Jerome.
So unfortunate there with their last push, but Boise High is able to just really effectively lock them down.
0-0.
Yeah, not punishing the not punishing the Sigma when the Sigma was sitting there.
Initiating match.
You know, I get capping the point, and you know, obviously this is sort of hindsight here, but diving on this and diving on the Sigma and making sure you get this stagger, and without a tank there, you can't initialize a push, even with Nano. Nano's the pure reason why that Milk was able to just bulldoze through his own shield and get onto point, get a touch, and then Valkyrie also getting committed as well.
Yeah.
So Boise effectively needs to cap the point, but that's all they need to do so far.
Oh, and it looks like they're going to swap over
You count on me?
to...
I
Oh,
count
that's
on
actually
you.
a pretty different setup for them. With Roadhog, as well as Sojourn, and we've got Widow for attack. It looks like Jerome's going to stay with a pretty similar setup, though it looks like Kiriko and Baptiste are going to pop out instead.
I do like that support composition, especially the Kiriko, because they've ran an Ana so far every map so far, and the 3 stages that they played, and negating that purple effect with the cleanse is so
being
big
able to
with
do
Kiriko.
that, I think, will be a really big factor in whether or not they can do it. It's just the timing is really fun on that one, so we'll see if they're able to watch it. But yeah, going into this, I do like the Baptiste and Kiriko setup here. I think it's a really good sustainable setup if they get it right. Oh, but it looks like Boise High swapped to D.Va instead.
A pretty good counter to Reinhardt as well.
Yeah, D.Va's going to be really solid here for dealing
Able
with
to
these
negate
characters.
a lot of that ult charge gained by those fire strikes there, and just in general block a lot of damage, but you lose that shield. You know, your healers need to for sure be up to the task. And honestly, it's really, this push is going to be determined as successful by if Eggs and G-Baby can end up getting picks that allow the rest of the team to funnel in and clean up the rest.
Yeah, you can see... Got rid of the teleporter. Boise High really loves their Symmetra setups right now, and it's been favoring them quite a bit as they're already starting to capture point. Jerome High's gonna try and get close, but D.Va ult goes out a little early, but you know, still able to help them, keep them away.
Trying to get a
Oh no!
trying to get a drop kill, able to do it.
Oh no!
But it doesn't really matter
Oh,
as
that's
the whole team gets
horrible.
eliminated. Even if I'm a little interested by not swapping to a faster character, especially by really everybody, not switching to a baller, Doomfist, or not switching to a Tracer, or somebody that can cover a lot of ground quickly. It just seems like Boise High so far has a bigger grasp on the level of confidence they have in their compositions and their level to execute within those compositions as well.
Yeah.
So.
And variety, I
And-
think.
yeah.
Like Jerome has been kind of sticking to the same comp, or just with like slight changes in their supports and DPS. But like for the most part, it's been Ryan. I mean, he tried Winston. They tried Winston at one point, but they swapped pretty quick. And so I think just right now they're struggling because they're kind of predictable at this point with Boise High.
Yeah. We did see a little bit. We did see a little bit of the transition for the side of Jerome in terms of switching to that Kiriko, but it's Boise High 2-0, and they're at match point right now. So going into escort here.
4, 3,
It's
2.
Jerome's got to find a way to stay in this, because if they don't
Yeah.
manage to push this far enough or defend,
Yep.
it's over for week 8, and they have to chance it all on the playoffs.
And it looks like we're going to see another Winston swap out for Cow Power here going into payload. I do think Winston is a good character for them right now with the diving ability that he has. It'll be helpful going against. And it looks like he's already going to try and put that into effect with Lucio and the rest of Boise High trying to push him back. They do manage to take him out. They're going for the Bastion now. With Sigma blocking all of his bullets, they're able to take him out too. With Boise High pushing them away from the payload already. Pushing him back towards spawn. Ash and Baptiste trying to hang on. But Sigma and Hanzo do not care, taking them out.
Yeah. Beyond Dorado here. Already, it's not very common you see, especially on this map. And, you know, it's on an escort as well. A team pushing back to their spawn. Rum needs to find a way to quickly get out of here and take some ground here. The switch up to the D.Va might be able to negate some of the incoming damage, but this is a high DPS team. And D.Va's not able to block this Symmetra laser, but Symmetra's on the way back from spawn, so they might not be able to contribute too much to this fight.
Ooh, tries to take out the Ana. They're able to just barely do it. Sigma's shields do not help. They're able to push him back. D.Va is doing a lot for this team. Sigma has his ult though, so we'll have to be really careful going forward. Graviton Surge active. Has to pull back the barrier, and it looks like Boise High is going to be pushed back behind the first checkpoint. He's going to try and activate the ult. Reaper's able to teleport behind, goes for just the back line. Jerome High is able to make a lot more plays right now.
Trying to keep it alive, but this Mercy is doing such a good job of making sure this tank stays up. The Nano gets committed as well. This is what allowed Boise High to stay in the fight last time, but not able to make a whole lot of progress here. There's too many targets here. Beat also gets committed as well from the side of Boise High as well. So does Window. Window gets committed on the side of Jerome. Eggs is going to get the first pick here in this brawl with some even trades so far, and that's a Mercy down. That's their main support, and yeah, with this BAP in this fight now, it's just going to fall apart for the side of Jerome before they can cap the first point.
Wow. Jerome, once again, I feel like, although this match has definitely been some more progress for them, you can still see similarities to the matches before, just with Boise High able to lock down Jerome after they do a really solid push. But Jerome is making some more headway overall, so I think they've started to crack whatever code they've been trying to look at here. It does look like they have a nice thing going with Riptire going out. Let's see. Do they get anyone? No.
Oh, Riptire was taken out.
Oh. Farah goes out. D.Va activates her ult.
Oh, the shield was not able to fully block it. It's going to get the Bastion. There's going to be a res here on the main tank. Graviton Surge is available, and this D.Va's very low, and even with Mercy healing, not able to keep it fully up. And some staggers might be coming in here. Graviton
Oh
Surge
my gosh,
gets committed.
on the Ash. Just trying to get
get
any last resistance here.
Yeah, getting stagger after stagger. 20 seconds left. You know, Jerome's gonna have very little time here. Their full team's not gonna be available. Yeah, just as they go one by one to try and get a touch on the point, and they're just gonna be mowed down, and that's gonna be the end of it for this first round of the last map for Jerome. That is if Boise High is able to push it farther than Jerome, but this Reaper getting a last-second contest and committing Death Blossom. It gives him a switch on some faster characters. This might just be a brawl for the side of Jerome in OT here.
We do see a Tracer come out from Jerome. They are trying to go for the faster characters. They're hanging on for a second. The Baptiste Immortality Field goes down. D.Va is just trying to hang on. It's taken out. Ooh, the Lucio at the end there. Unfortunately for Jerome, they just didn't have time.
Yeah, you know, a good last second effort, but you know, when you're staggered just that far apart from each other, or only half your team is fighting the other full team, it's got to be difficult, and you really got to pull out some cards up your sleeve in order to stay alive there. And unfortunately, Jerome was not able to do that, and Boise High just to push it 85 meters effectively to win out the series and get a sweep going here.
And we've seen how fast Boise High has been able to push in the past, so Jerome is going to want to make sure that whatever their plan is, that they have it set up where they don't let them leave the spawn, essentially. They have to try and figure out how Boise High was doing that to them, and then do that to Boise High, because otherwise, letting Jerome push near this archway that we're zooming in on right now is not going to end well for them.
Yeah. Yeah, the common idea here is to hold high ground for as long as you can. initially Boise High got really, got really egotistical there, pushing to doors there. And there's really, when you have the advantage, there's really no point not to. But Jerome was able to get a really good push out when they're sort of able to push Boise High, backs against the wall. But time and time again, that nano has come into such clutch for the side of Boise High, but I don't see it being available for them this time around.
5, 4.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to favor Lucio and Mercy together.
This is a
So-
pure dive comp.
Yeah, which is really dangerous for Jerome. A dive comp is going to be able to push past them really quick if they're not careful. You can already see Jerome's trying to take out. Let's see. Echo tries to go in on their own. It's chased by the Diva, but Diva's going to push back. They do not want to get too far away from the point right now.
Mercy going to battle Mercy mode, trying to get some work done. Nope is able to get one pick here, but so far not able to get anything. So as I say that, Eggs gets one.
Nice immortality field, though.
Oof. But there goes the support and your main tank out.
Oh, and with that, they've already pushed near the checkpoint. Doomfist holding it down. Just what I was talking about earlier, letting them push past that arch.
I want to see the
Jerome really
Kiriko.
doesn't have a lot of time. Trying. There's just too many Jerome players, and with that,
Yeah, with that, Boise High is your winner of this last week. Well, their matchup of the last week, week 8 going into it. So Boise High ends up taking down the tied for first place effective champs and was able to not maintain a flawless record, but nevertheless was able to take down somebody who did.
which is impressive.
Yeah, very impressive. The Admiral National Guard is a proud supporter of Boise State Esports. Top plays are presented by the Admiral National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical thinking skills into real time with more than 10 jobs, offering a 20K bonus and a degree of your choice paid for. National Guard is the best team out there. Reach out to them at Twitch at iGuard Gaming. Oh, Boise ends up taking it all. Like I was sort of alluding to it before. They don't finish off the season record. Wow, the word escaping me. Undefeated is the word I was looking for. But nevertheless, second place is now tied for. And if Meridian Technical being that team that they've been a very strong team. You saw them last week with the two other Overwatch players here.
And they did win last year, so they are definitely the kind of just like the castle to take down at this point. They've built up, they have their reputation, and out of all of the teams, I'm totally not biased because I didn't graduate there or something, but they are a team that you have to, like, they are the team that you want to watch out for and the team that people are going to be gunning to take down, because if you can take down them, you have a pretty good shot overall going forward.
Yeah, very interested to see who ends up taking that down. It's a little updated regular season stats and the standings that we have. Meridian Technical obviously has to play their last game to determine if first place ends up being a three-way tie. But by the stands of it, there's really no team that record-wise, is up to par with them. So will it pretty much be a sweep for the side of Meridian Technical? Probably. But that's the end of the first matchup for us here today. But make sure to stick around for just probably one more matchup that we have after this, end out the week number 8. So we're going to take some got a little bit of update. We have Bishop Kelly versus Meridian Tech, the JV team, not the number 1 team. So that will be a spectacle and a match to watch up. But we're going to take a quick messages. Hope to see you after that.
Growing up in Idaho, we have certain rules we live by. First rule, camouflage never goes out of style. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Idaho Central Credit Union, looking after your daily balance.
It's me, your Idaho Central Credit Union app. Rough morning? Is that a mobile deposit? I got this. Beat it, Charlie. We're making money moves here. Cha-ching. And done.
Charlie, come on, outside.
Sorry about the mess. I'd help if I had hands. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app. I know this car got you through college, but check this out. In my credit, your credit score looks good. And there's a great rate on this auto loan so we can score a roomier ride. Whoa, who's driving this thing? The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Visit NationalGuard.com to begin your Guard adventure.
Growing up in Idaho, we have certain rules we live by. First rule, camouflage never goes out of style. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Idaho Central Credit Union, looking after your daily balance.
It's me, your Idaho Central Credit Union app. Rough morning? Is that a mobile deposit? I got this. Beat it, Charlie. We're making money moves here. Cha-ching. And done.
Charlie, come on, outside.
Sorry about the mess. I'd help if I had hands. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app. I know this car got you through college, but check this out. In my credit, your credit score looks good. And there's a great rate on this auto loan so we can score a roomier ride. Whoa, who's driving this thing? The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
Hello, welcome back to the beautiful Boise State Esports Arena here, where we have the Idaho High School Esports Championship going on for here tonight, where we are in the final week number 8. It is do or do not for these teams in terms of how good of a seeding are you going to get when you push onto the LAN event that's going to be in the playoffs here in Boise State Arena in about 2 weeks' time. So there's no pressure. There's absolutely no pressure. These teams are going to play exactly like there's no stakes on the line here tonight. Coming back to it, I am your host, Colin McJunket, joining me by desk by the name that I now know and forever have committed to memory, Audrey Norris. And going into it, we now have Rigby versus Meridian Tech. Now, we were going to see the JV team going into it, but we've actually just been informed this is the varsity team going into it. The undefeated, they're looking to keep their 8-0 record. Now, I want a completely unbiased opinion. That's why I have you on desk with me today. So,
yes.
You saw the varsity team last week as well. I want you to walk me through some of their strengths that they may have that gives them such a great benefit.
So last week I had the pleasure of casting with members of our own college varsity team, and so I think the best thing I can do, since I didn't really get to commentate much, I was mostly just listening to them, is just kind of quote them. In general, the most that they said about Meridian Tech is that for a high school team, they were very confident in their setups. They knew what they wanted to do, and they were comfortable swapping when something wasn't working. And they were comfortable swapping roles. So there were tanks that knew how to do support, and there was support that knew how to DPS. And because of that, MTCHS is a very versatile team. So going forward, that's something that they want to keep in mind. If they, any team going against them, is just expect the unexpected. Yeah. You never know what they're going to do. I mean, they had some really interesting setups, at least according to the players that were commentating last week with me.
Yeah. And hopefully they're taking a little bit of advice from just more than us and somebody else dear to us here in the arena. We have Doc's Keys to the Game, which in Overwatch, been over before, but nevertheless, position your supports well. Tank and DPS need to move together. Know the new cooldowns to get implemented, and tempo wins map. Tempo. And Doc's Keys to the Game are brought to us by Dropping Gaming. Dropping Gaming is a online platform for gamers who seek competition, play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through fee and paid entry matches. Whether you're new to the scene or you're a seasoned veteran, Dropping Gaming is the right games for you. To begin your competitive journey, sign up at droppinggaming.com. Looking to get right into this matchup here, and I think that is the really big thing from a transition of I know it's not really a relevant conversation anymore of old Overwatch to new Overwatch, but I think that is, I do like that note they gave to Meridian Tech of being comfortable to make role swaps, not only just character swaps as well, because I feel like that's so important when you only have a 5-man team, because when you have people that can do so many other things, much like our own collegiate team, and fill other different roles, you end up having such a different play style that you can't VOD review. You can't memorize all the different ways they play it unless you're a super genius. So it's going to be difficult, but
yeah, you could be looking at one player and you're like, oh my gosh, they're a terrifying tank, and then you go into a game with them and they're not the tank, and that can be really dangerous. Yep. So knowing that can be really helpful, but looking at the matchups, like we're talking about, Meridian Tech is now the only undefeated team on the roster. So they are kind of the ones everyone's going to be gunning to take down.
And the two Rigby teams are actually have the same record as well, a little farther down the standing chart. So I imagine they're looking to make a massive upset here, which is not an entire possibility that you can count out here, especially for a team that I imagine the way Meridian Tech played last time around last week, facing, I believe it was the other Rigby team as well, they ended up facing as well. So they didn't really show a whole lot of mercy there. So I imagine they're not going to show any mercy going into it again, which is what I like to see from teams at any level.
And as we can see, we've got just a little bit of a different setup than we saw in the previous match. We've got, looks like we get to see Ramatra now coming out for tank with Hammond on Rigby's side. We're getting a little bit more variety in characters, those similar Lucio setups, so that'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Starting off on Helios, a best of 5. here today. This Ramatra, I imagine, will be very oppressive in terms of getting a lot of ground, as the hamster might be able to do some damage against it, but I don't imagine it being super effective already with their Lucio going down. That's their entry into the site, at least in a fast pace. And there goes that excavator as well, the second DPS to follow, or the first, and there goes the second support. They are going to get a trade, however, though, so it's not completely a loss on the side of Rigsby, but nevertheless, Radiant Tentacle takes first point of that.
Ooh, yeah, Rigby's being pushed back. 5-player killer streak for King Swiffer there on Ramatra, going really good for Meridian Tech so far. Kind of able to lock down the point, which is really effective. Rigby trying to move up, but looking at like the ultimate economy right now, though, too, Meridian Tech is doing really good, though. Both teams, I think, have a chance to like change that depending on how they approach this. Oh no, Toddy's gonna try and get a boop.
The boop idea and the wall is actually amazing.
Ooh, trapping the tank.
In the boop on the one character that can fly in the competition as well, but it's not necessarily needed, as pin yourself in such a small room against this Meridian Tentacle team. They're able to sniff it out very fast and just put an absolute counter. Take your tank out of their mech, then wall them off, take out Baby Diva, and then from there it was just a slugfest. And unable to get the grenade jump as well, but I don't think it matters too much.
Yeah. Meridian Tech playing smart, staying back right now. Rigby trying to take a different approach. They're getting close to having a lot of their ultimates, so they might be able to make some waves. It looks like they chose to switch to Junker Queen to maybe try and chip down Ramatra a little bit faster and keep their health up. Does seem to be working Queen for a little bit there, but King Swiffer is able to bring his health up and chases Junker Queen down for a team kill. Meridian Tech is just not holding back right now.
I also just want to point out that the Law got 2 there, but King Swiffer was quite literally on like 20 HP, got pushed back into the lava from the Torbjorn, and then just clicked a button to block and negated all of the damage and got their health completely back, which is absolutely insane for a tank right there. And
no, that was some really nice Ramatra gameplay.
that was, well, it was really smart gameplay from the Junker Queen as well.
I did like the Junker Queen, yeah. It was a good knife.
And then pushing them right back into the Torbjorn ult. But unfortunately, you did it to the one character that can just sit there and block all the damage.
Yeah, it was like, I'm just going to take all of this and then I'm going to be fine, yeah. No, that did not end up going in Rigby's favor there, but I do appreciate the swap to Junker Queen.
Yeah.
I thought it was a good swap overall. If they had been in a little bit better position, I think ultimate-wise, they probably could have kept the Junker Queen up long enough to actually deal with the Ramatra, but luckily King Swiffer knew what to do there and so was able to handle it.
Yeah, 100%. I do like the attempt to change it up a bit and find a different way to get through this, and the Orisa actually is a pretty good choice in terms of countering Ramatra and pushing them back and sort of forcing them away from a team competition in terms of when they attempt to tempo you. And also the Junkrat may be able to do a lot of damage here and starting off strong. Rigby getting the first pick on Ramatra nonetheless. This could be them taking the advantage and getting the point first as it unlocks in 2 seconds.
Ooh, Toddy jumping over the wall and starting to just cause chaos in Rigby's ranks. With the one Lucio just trying to hold on, Meridian Tech is able to get the point capture.
I don't know exactly where the Orisa went, or Meridian Tech was almost able to divide and conquer the team even though their tank went down. Their DPSs and their supports were able to do their job, and the supports stayed alive and the DPSs did as much damage as they possibly could and ended up backcapping a Rigby team that didn't realize what was going on.
Ooh, Orisa trying to push up into the ranks. Orisa's a really tanky and annoying character to get rid of, so could make not a bad character to try and deal with it, but Echo's in their backlines with the Lucio up above on the buildings. Oh, Rigby High is just not having a good time here.
Already 2 picks for the side of Meridian Tech as they are touching spawn doors right now. Toddy just getting some Lucio boots, trying to get an environmental and not able to get it done. This Tracer trying to get in the back lines, gets chased down.
The Tracer was
Oh.
that Tracer is so low. Well done surviving that long. Unfortunately taken out, but did at least manage to hold out because that Lucio was not good letting up. Oh my gosh.
I do want to point out that I do like the idea by the Sombra right there to back cap, because they did a really good job of taking pressure off of the front that Rigby was having so much trouble getting through. Unfortunately, they missed their translocate and ended up just being punished and staggered anyway, so
Yeah,
there
it
really
was a good
no
idea.
contribution they put toward the fight here.
Oh, the Roadhog, that might be good for getting rid of Lucio. Oh, this Lucio does not want to leave, though.
Oh.
Oh my goodness. Oh no, and the Law has activated his ult. Lucio counter ults. Not able to do a lot, though. Oh, jeez.
Yep.
Just that combo together.
Rigby not able to do too much there. That is the first map going to the side of Meridian Technical. Definitely a dominating performance that we expect to see from the only undefeated team in this lineup. I mean, come on, that's sort of what you're expecting to see. Especially, I mean, no hate to Rigby, but when you're facing such a dominant team,
It's really hard.
It's hard to overcome that because they're so comfortable. They're able to switch roles. Their DPS do their job. They do the damage. Their healers stay alive, and their tank is just there dominating. Especially as Ramadra, who sort of, much like Orisa, can dish out the same amount of damage that they can take. So it's definitely an impressive combo.
And I think most importantly, too, is Meridian Tech just kind of is a very good team. Like, they play really well together. They're very just coordinated. That can be really hard to deal with. Like, when we're looking at, like, a lot of high school, versus collegiate, I think the biggest difference is typically communication and coordination. And you can tell that Meridian Tech has refined that, and that can just be really hard to go up against. Even if not every player is skilled on a team, if the team works as a team, I'm saying team a lot, but...
Teamwork.
Teamwork, yeah. As people love to say, teamwork makes the dream work, and it's true.
It's about as factual a statement as you can get there. Rigby swapping onto this sort of a little bit of a dive comp here at the Hamster, looking to brawl a little bit. Hybrid sort of dive brawl they got going on a little bit here. Green Technical at defense first, already getting the first elimination. This Burning getting 2 here.
Ooh.
Taking the high ground here, the Hamster Excavator trying to get around, trying to do something, push them off. Just completely alone here.
Yeah.
Toddy is an extremely confident Lucio, and if they took advantage of that one time and got a character that could punish.
Yeah, punishing Toddy would be really helpful for Rigby right now, because he's just everywhere right now, and that's a big problem for Rigby.
Yep.
Especially on this area of King's Fall. I mean, King's Fall in general is just a really frustrating map when you have a Lucio, because they can just, I mean, you can see him, he's right up there.
Yep. I do like the swamps. They're trying to go for something different, which I do appreciate and I do like. They're trying to do something different here. And Toddy going in, trying to get some early damage, trying to get a pick here. Window was committed as well. They're not able to push past it, or they don't have any abilities that can really force them off or away from that window here. And, you know, Rigby with some constant swips here. Here's the Bastion as well. And they have no ultimates close to being lined up as well, where Meridian Technical has, you know, going to be Tire and going to be Shatter as well as Beat going to these next 2 fights. And they're unaware of a Rhine sitting behind the corner.
Oh no! King Swiffer, why? Oh my goodness. Oh, wow. Just, you know, that's my favorite thing in Overwatch, is when one player goes, you know what, I'm just going to crouch in the corner for a sec and hope no one sees me, and it pays off. Especially the tank. I mean, he's doing it again. And he's got his... Oh, he's got the setup right now. They're not looking. Bastion, don't do it again. Bastion, no.
Oh. Doesn't even get the kill from the pin as well. Just gets eliminated anyway, but Beat comes in. But the Ramattra gets stuck on a trap there, but a low King Swiffer is going to go down as well as the Bastion. And now Rigby is on the point, getting some touches here, but they're being contested entire, and that back line's gonna get 2 and then get 1 more. And yeah, it's a sweep. The Bastion's back to try and regain some glory and some ground here. But it's only a mere matter of seconds before this full Meridian team comes back online.
Yep, and here they are already. Rigby is being forced back. The Rhine charges in, able to just kind of mop up the rest of them, keeping them back. Ramatra having to put up shields. He's getting pushed to spawn. Rigby's lost their tank with a couple of them back out here. Oh, Bastion taken out before he can set up his ultimate. That's unfortunate for Rigby. They do try and push again a little bit here.
Ramatra could be the saving grace here, but they do have Beat alive as well as Windows, so they could out DPS here. Beat gets committed. Kitsune Rush also committed as well for the side of Rigby here. Reaper trying to get some damage in, but going to go down to the Bastion here. That's a DPS gone. Now a healer gone as well. This is looking like Annihilation gets committed. It's 2, gets
so many commits and just not a lot of value.
Only 20 seconds left, and the entire team pretty much gone, sent back to the spawn doors here. The Reaper gets one on Toddy. That could be the opening they're looking for, but they got to do it now, and they got to do it really fast here. They're aware of the Ryan being there, and the Ryan's just going to take them all the way from away from the team. There comes down the Bastion ult. It's too little, too late for the side of Rigby, and there's going to be no touches as Tyre's going to persuade them to stay over on that side of the wall.
Yeah, Meridian Tech locked down the checkpoint, so now all they really have to do is cap at this point. Rigby is definitely going to want to change up their comp a little bit here. As we saw, I mean, King Swiffer swapped to Reinhardt, which just kind of locked down the point. Overall, Meridian Tech's swap here was really good for locking down this area, and I think Rigby is going to want to try and do something similar if they can.
And there was no punishment there either, too, because, you know, you may have been unaware the first time after that Ryan did that, but the second time as well, you'd think, where did this Ryan come from? Let me check again. But that's
the Bastion went to the same spot.
Doing the same thing, and they got punished. Whereas normally it's like, hey, let's regroup, let's stop for a second.
And think about this.
And they have so many people that are so out of position. Let's find one, punish them, and then we have a number advantage, and
get the tank out of the way, get the Lucio, get a support or tank out of the way, and make things a lot easier for yourself. Yeah.
And the Lucio wasn't really doing too much, I believe so, for the side of Meridian Technical in terms of healing. They were more just being a nuisance.
Which
that alone
does a lot.
Yeah, was enough to sort of put Rigby off their game.
Because it's the mental game of, you don't know, what he was doing a lot was just, you didn't know where he was. So you'd suddenly get hit by a Lucio attack, and you're like, where is it? And then gone. Because Reinhardt or Burning would come in, and then suddenly you would just be... you'd be out of there. And so, yeah, it was a interesting setup, but it looks like Meridian Tech is going to go for the same kind of setup here going into it. Just rush in here.
They do have a sim.
Rigby's swapped to Sigma. I like that swap for trying to deal with this.
They went for the TP play on the top of the statue. It's negated so far, but there's going to be some refrags coming out here. Now this is very low Sigma. Gets pinned, going to go down brought to very low health. There goes down the Sig, there goes down the Bastion, and the final DPS as well. The turret's the last defender standing, and it's just going to go out, and that's Meridian Technical putting a massive wrap on map number 2. They managed to completely hold Rigby from even getting a tick on that on hybrid there, and all it took was them just getting one. So
yeah, that was a very fast ending for Meridian Tech to pull off there, which, you know, like we've been talking about, not the most surprising thing, but Rigby, I think definitely going forward is going to want to try and figure out how they can adapt to this. And I think, like you were talking about, try and regroup a little bit better, because the Rhine getting away with the same thing with the Bastion twice was very unfortunate for them. And so I think keeping that in mind will really help them, because Meridian Tech likes to do stuff like that a lot. And I think letting them do it does not end well for you. And it's like, just teach them not to do it, and it will help you a lot going forward.
Yeah, especially going into this escort map, going up next. I think the biggest thing is they need to stay on defense. I'm pretty sure. I imagine these teams get to pick it at the end of the day, but staying on defense here, because then they could just sort of hold it and do what they did on King Zoro as well. Hold it out for the 4 minutes that they get, and then just I imagine they'll probably keep the same level of prowess and keep Rigby very low on terms of the meters counted. So then they can just come in and then
just push it, yeah.
Yeah, sweep it only, push it only 100 meters maybe, and end up capping it all.
Yeah, and it does look like they chose defense, which This is a very nasty place to push back as attack. Just this spot of the map can be really hard, especially with a Widowmaker on this sight line here. And Roadhog. As we can see, we saw the swap up here. The Law is now playing Roadhog.
On Circuit Royale especially, you know, a Widowmaker is so strong on almost every section of this map, past maybe like the second point, but even after the second point, the Widowmaker is still a valid pick.
There's just so much going on. It's really hard to deal with her. I do like the Junker Queen swap though. Similar. She's a very fun character to me. Whenever I see her played, I just think she's a fun tank. Let's see.
Having an Ana to go with it as well, though, is interesting because I found it to be it's a pretty effective combo to have the purple nade and then have a bleed effect as well, because then you can't heal past the bleed effect, but the bleed effect already sort of does that nonetheless. But you sort of double down on that. It works really well, and Rigby taking a little bit of advantage here. There's 3 eliminations.
That's a really good push for them. As we can see, Meridian Tech has to back off a little bit too. They're going to be able to make some decent headway here.
Now it's really up to the Widowmaker here. How effective the Widowmaker here is and how many picks they get will purely determine how well Meridian Technical can hold this point, because if they're not able to hit their heads and their shots, they're just going to keep pushing here, because a Widow that doesn't hit their shots is super ineffective.
Yeah, it looks like Junker Queen
value.
is taken down though. Ooh. Oh, Hog is pushing in. He's pushing up far. He's like, no, this is my area. Oh, looks like Molten Car's gonna go out for Torbjorn.
Oh,
ooh.
Committed ult there, and you don't get the pick. Especially when you're solo with somebody like that, you've got to make sure you get that pick at the end of the day. And Meridian Technical having now 3 ults, about to be the 4th to come online here in this next fight. Rigby should have 4 of their own going into this next fight if they manage to prolong it long enough. Now they got 2 here.
Yeah, I do think they still have a really decent distance, but that was such a bad nade for them. And Roadhog activating his ult, just pushing them back, denying them any ability to just try and take the payload back. Ooh.
They used all their ultimates, but it doesn't really matter because they have beat here. And Rigby will have beat as well to counter it, and they do have Kitsune Rush as well, but the biggest thing was losing Kitsune Rush immediately into that fight. Your Kiriko peeking that corner onto what you know is a Roadhog that has the ability to hook and one-shot combo you. Not the best of choices to make there, and in general, losing your support as the first person in the fight. That is a really good pick, though.
Ooh. There we go. Gonna get both of this, get the support and the Widowmaker. That is really good pick there. Kitsune goes out as well. They're pushing Meridian Tech back up to the hill. Oh. Junker Queen is so low, able to hang on. Burning is trying to get some picks, but Hanzo being so close up is not really a good thing when you're next to Junker Queen.
They are able to push it to first point here, so they do get a little bit extra time here, but the Law trying to get away is not able to do it. And that massive, that opening pick onto the Hog there just left the rest of everybody scattered and defenseless there, especially against a Junker Queen who does a really good job of picking apart individual teams when they get separated.
Yeah.
But this bend gets easier now. The Widowmaker is not as effective anymore, so
Yeah, it looks like they're gonna have some swap outs. Not the Widowmaker though. Looks
yeah,
like
I
Sigma and we're gonna have
Huh.
Sigma. Interesting. So Sigma, not a bad. I like Sigma in a lot of areas. He's so good for control, but Zenyatta is gonna be popping out for support. He's also pretty good. I bet they want to use him to be able to take down Junker Queen faster, just by putting.
I do, yeah. Normally a Sigma are the tanks that are normally chosen to play on this map. Especially, I believe Rigby might want to make the change here to a Sigma as well, because this Widowmaker is just going to keep poking holes in your team so far. And they're able to damage you pretty well, and you need to throw that shield up to negate the Widowmaker and force them to reposition to a spot that you can take advantage of. Because, yeah, they're just going to keep picking apart and taking down your health. And if they place the shots right, could be big. Ooh. Trying to absorb the shells. I don't know if Sigma can do that actually.
Yeah.
But that ultimate's gonna get 2.
You know, I kind of like the idea better that was just Sigma going, I wonder if I can, because
Yeah.
I'm already here.
Because I know Genji can deflect them. because Genji's can deflect the missiles and throw
Which
them
is
back
so
another way, but
funny.
you have to be looking like right up at them, and you don't deflect them anywhere.
Yeah,
So
which
it's
is such a
purely just
painful
a
thing to
defensive
think
thing.
about, though, is Bastion's like, oh, I'm going to get this perfect setup. Genji's just like, nah, let me take my sword and deflect these missiles.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I will say, this is one of the most frustrating parts of any of the maps, in my opinion, like payload. The circuit here is one of the hardest areas, especially right here. So the fact that we're spending a lot of time here does not surprise me. You have to have the right combo of ults and picks to get through this. But it looks like Meridian Tech doesn't care, and they just have take everything out.
They
Pretty
look at the
effectively.
limb on the Widow there, and they do have Trans, they do
Which
have
is
Dragon
good.
available as well. Rigby has Kitsune Rush
That's going to be really good going forward if they can get,
and Beat as well.
yeah, if they get Beep and then they get Junker Queen. That's going to be a nice setup here. Yep, there she goes. Ooh, she got Sigma. Oh, is taken out before she can fully do that. You know, I wonder if Rigby had activated some of their other ults, if that had been a little bit more effective, but Meridian Tech is in such a good position.
Kitsune Rush gets committed here, not able to get the eliminations though. The last second ball switch, the desperation here. There were a couple things that went wrong for the side of Rigby. Might be able to get some exit frags, but not able to do it. Not able to prioritizes getting eliminations over getting the touch, which is not ideally what you're going for. But I feel like the biggest thing that I saw a lot of the times here was a lot of your characters end up just, you know, on the side of Rigby here, they got picked off so effectively and so well. And one of the big things that I saw was like their Lucio was trying to imitate like Toddy's behavior
Yeah,
of like
which-
getting in the face of the enemy, but like
That's something you have to practice,
and
I think.
it wasn't effective because you weren't doing anything. You weren't getting a whole lot of value there, especially against a team that's combined and communicated like Meridian Technical. And you had Beat and you died twice
Yeah.
when you could have used Beat to help your team. With like Kitsune Rush, you're comboing with some ability, or when another ultimate got used to help perhaps save some of your teammates from being eliminated there. So it's
No,
definitely a very
there's some
ineffective way to
mistakes.
use that character.
It does make me wonder if they had used Beep or maybe the Kitsune Rush in conjunction with Junker Queen, if that might have helped them at that last little bit there, because Junker Queen managed to hit quite a few people, but went down so quick she wasn't able to follow up. And so it just makes me wonder if maybe they had given her that extra buffer zone of the rest of the team and maybe some bonus health, if that might have been what they needed. Because they used Kitsune Rush right after, but it just didn't do anything for them. So going into this, they're going to really want to be
5,
careful and smart about how they set up their positions here. With Meridian Tech doing, oh, that's a dive. That's a dive build. That's going to be so nasty if they're not careful.
They choose the right side. It looks like they have characters. Yeah,
Oh,
they're going to
yep,
try
there
and
they
they're
go.
going over.
Yep, there they go. All right.
Yeah, as Torbjorn's not ready for it. Gets the pick, though. And Excavator's going to get the Mercy as well. They're going to get some trades, though, back and forth. This D.Va is trying to compensate, trying to get more of it. Excavator getting some more damage. The Law is low now and is out of mech as well. A great start for the side of Rigby.
Yeah.
But we do see some switches over the side of Meridian Tech.
Looks like they left the Kiriko up, though, so she's going to get some picks. What's unfortunate for Rigby is although trading is really helpful for them, it takes them longer to get to the
Yep.
payload, so trading isn't fully what they want to do, but they are still stalling Meridian Tech here with Hammond, which is really good for them. Unfortunately, the rest of his team is just a little too far behind, so they're going to have to let Meridian Tech push up this corner a bit more.
They only have to push. They really have to push it 54 meters here, which once you get around this bend, can start feeling pretty easy to get it up here. All they have to do is get it just barely up. Excavator really low. Not going to be able to escape. And Shannon's able to get one as well.
Yeah. Let's see. Oh, Moira. They do have, let's see, Soldier up there. Kind of in place of what Meridian Tech did with Widow. Oh, here he comes. He's going to be, see, Hammond trying to, he's trying to bother them, and it's kind of working, but he doesn't have a lot of staying power right now. Ooh, nice from the Torb there, taking out Kiriko.
Going trying to stop this from getting just a couple more meters here. Nobody on point really contesting here. The Torbjorn's only one there. Using Molten Core, trying to block it off. Not throwing anything on point, though. Oh, the Law's running right back into it, but is able to heal it out. Now the jump onto the Moira. Throwing the healing orb out, and now supporting each other. Gonna use Overheat or Overclock, but not, or yeah, it is Overheat, but. And Tire here, just waiting to be used, waiting to catch a couple of the opposing lacking here.
He's like, just tell me, and I'm ready.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to expect this Junkrat sitting here. They also have Kitsune Rush available to them as well. They will also have their Echo's copy ability, or ultimate going into it.
Oh! Looks like Junkrat has decided it might be better to just push the payload, distract all of the Rigby players that pushed up.
Yeah, was able to get it, able to get the time reset as well. Now they just have to negate high ground going forward. Visor is available. Being aided a little bit. Kitsune Rush is also used up here. Ooh, and just front onto it.
Oh, Meridian Tech is closing in. And they've cleared out so far up here. Oh no! The rip tire there was so good for that. Oh, and they're right there. And the way they pushed up, they're just denying Rigby the chance to try and even sneak in there.
Yeah, and that's Meridian Tech ending week 8. Actually, no. No, that was map 3, no?
Was it? I think it was.
Yeah, that was map 3. Yeah,
so
they won that.
Win that one. Okay, so.
Yeah, they won that. So they end up finishing out week 8 undefeated, which from the both of us, I don't think that was really unexpected there.
No.
I do think there were quite a bit of mistakes that Rigby ended up making that you could definitely dissect a lot more, but obviously, quite honestly, I'm not really the player to dissect a team and sort of pick them apart myself, but there definitely were some advantages that Meridian Tech was able to take advantage of and just pick apart Rigby's team by themselves and effectively get the job done very fast.
I do want to say though, good job on Rigby High for getting that checkpoint because they had been struggling so much to even cap at any point. So the fact that they were able to get one checkpoint at some point was good for them, being able to try and actually, they did actually pose a threat to Meridian Tech for a little bit there, and I think that was, the best you could hope for in the situation they were dealing with.
Oh yeah, definitely. But that's the end of the secondary matchup going up to it. But we have one more coming up after this, so we're going to take a quick message break. Hope to see you after it. Get some water. See you after these messages.
Growing up in Idaho, we have certain rules we live by. First rule, camouflage never goes out of style. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
Idaho Central Credit Union, looking after your daily balance.
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app. I know this car got you through college, but check this out. In my credit, your credit score looks good. And there's a great rate on this auto loan so we can score a roomier ride. Whoa, who's driving this thing? The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Here are a couple lessons I've learned over the years. Friendships come in all shapes and sizes. And always buckle up. Seatbelts save lives. That's a rule we can all live by.
NationalGuard.com to begin your guard adventure.
It's me, your Idaho Central Credit Union app. Rough morning. Is that a mobile deposit? I got this. Beat it, Charlie. We're making money moves here. Cha-ching. And done.
Charlie, come on, outside.
Sorry about the mess. I'd help if I had hands. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Hello, welcome back to the Boise State Esports Arena, where tonight we are finishing off week number 8, the final week for these Idaho High School Championship esports teams who are looking to push into the final bits of the playoffs and secure their seeding for the last bit of it and to make it to the LAN here in the Boise State Arena, here in the beautiful city of Boise, Idaho. Going into it, we saw Jerome versus Boise. We saw Rigby versus Meridian Tech. I almost said Mountain Home, which I believe it was Boise that took it home with the W 3-0. Meridian Tech ended up taking the W with a 3-0, and now we're seeing Meridian Tech JV team face off against Bishop Kelly going into it. You made the joke. You're a little biased, right? You would love to see a double Meridian Tech W here at the end of the night. You know, what do you think Meridian Tech needs to do to sort of push it over the edge?
You know, as someone who totally doesn't have Meridian Tech listed at the top of their high school diploma, I would say that they probably want to focus on their coordination throughout these matches. I think the biggest thing in high school is just, when you're ever looking at it, is who's more coordinated than the other, because there's going to be a lot of varying skill levels. You don't really know always who's going to be doing what, and so being a coordinated team can go far in high school. And so I think just Meridian Tech junior varsity is going to want to take a couple just notes from their varsity team players and know how to just like move back and forth and stay together in a way that really works out for them.
Which I know personally with my own experience with working with, you know, not only at the high school level, not at the esports level, but at the high school and now at collegiate level with esports, communication between varsity and JV teams can be difficult to manage because oftentimes they just don't communicate, period. But I really do think that the Meridian Tech JV team should take advantage of having such a quality team as their varsity level superiors and learn a thing or two. But as we've mentioned 2 times before, I'm going to reiterate for the 3rd time again, our advice is pudent to Doc Sees the game, which in Overwatch is pummel your opponent, play what you're good at, install fear, and objective is better than kills. We saw that one definitely in effect until the last couple of seconds of the matchup with Rigby versus Mountain Home. And Doc Sees the game are brought to you by Drop In Gaming, the premier online platform for gamers using competition and play your favorite games to win cash and prizes through feeding payday matches and tournaments. Whether you're new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop In Gaming is the right games of competition for you. To begin a competitive gaming journey, sign up at dropingaming.com. Looking to get right into it. And I believe we'll probably the standings one more time going into it, but just I do know that Bishop Kelly and Meridian Tech are similar in terms of ranking.
They might be the same. Yes, they are the same. Fair. So we can see here Bishop Kelly and Meridian Tech have the same 5-2 win-loss ratio here. So it's going to be a pretty even matchup going forward for them, which is I think is always fun.
I think these matchups are really fun, considering like we saw it with Boise High and Jerome was sort of like, is the other team going to go undefeated? Which we actually ended up finding out that Boise High's only loss was a forfeit loss that they had to take.
Yeah, so they are a very good contender. So essentially, they're very close to the 0 win overall, which means they're very good contenders. But I think it's always better to see similar win rates because it helps you just like see the actual skills of players. It's always frustrating, like if you're say I'm like going into normal like Overwatch and I just want to play by myself. It's frustrating to go against someone who is just so much objectively more skilled than me because I don't learn anything and I don't actually get to show off what I'm good at. And so I think having two teams that are similar in skill level, matchup-wise, makes it a better match overall. We can already see it's getting really intense with a mirror matchup for our tanks here. Two Ramatras just kind of duking it out.
Show's going up, maintaining a little bit of high ground here, but it seems to be Bishop Kelly that's taking the advantage a little bit earlier, getting the few first eliminations here. Going into tempo mode, gonna get one pick, and there goes a second as well. That Ramatra not able to do much against two of the stronger damage output characters in the game, and that is Bishop Kelly taking the first, taking point first here after the unlock pushed upwards up to 10%. Now it's up to Meridian Technical to find a way back into the point, as Bishop Kelly's gonna hold this little bit of choke point here, just firing down.
Yeah, let's see. Looking at our teams here. Yep, Meridian Tech trying to push in. Oh, they knocked the Ramatra! That was a very necessary boop, with Ramatra taking a lot of heavy fire from Bastion. Doesn't end up mattering because ends up taking out the Junkrat. Meridian Tech trying to go around the side here. They do manage to get in, but the Bastion is not letting up right now. Looks like Meridian Tech might be able to take the point here if they can hang on a little bit longer, but they lose their Baptiste.
The switch onto the D.Va here is interesting as well. I don't know particularly if D.Va's a necessary counter to the Ramatra, but I think it's more or less trying to negate the effectiveness of the Bishop Kelly's Junkrat as well.
Yeah.
Because, you know, eating up those nades is a primary way, but Tire is available for Bishop Kelly as well. As Meridian Tech sort of held onto the point here. It could be devastating as they're all sort of jumped up in that area.
Ooh. See, oh. Mr. Boogie, he's pushing in, trying to get Meridian Tech into a spot. We get Riptire sent out. Ramatra is able to hold on. The D.Va pushes in. Ramatra doesn't have backup, and Bishop Kelly is able to take the point from them. Still in the lead, 53-41.
Yeah, definitely. They use that fast and use that effectively. And finding the BAP on a different roof than where the other team was and singling them out and getting that elimination was really big, because that's a portion of the healing gone there. And it's one of those things of, you know, in my opinion, the healers don't necessarily determine the course of a match, but when you lose your healers as the first people to go down in a fight, they're not really doing their job, and you set your team up for failure at that point. As Meridian Tech's trying to grab a foothold here. No clear eliminations. Visor is available for the side of Meridian Tech. So is Beat and Window here. The D.Va Bomb goes out, is able to find one. And they also have Window, Beat, and the Bastion ultimate to go along with it.
Ooh, D.Va tries to push forward. Ramatra is able to get on point. He starts trying to capture, but Baptiste is able to push him with D.Va. Brings out an Immortality Field, stays up a really long time, which wears down Meridian Tech here. Ooh, Meridian Tech isn't able to stay on point. I mean, Lucio's trying right now, but his health is way too low, and so Bishop Kelly is able to take the objective.
Beat goes out. The last bit of ultimates get committed. The Soldier's the last to go down with it all. And so far, each map has seen Ilios as the starting map as well. There seems to be a little bit of pattern. I'd start feeling suspicious if Hybrid ends up being King's Row as well. And then
I feel like, okay, it's almost always King's Row, though.
Yeah, I know it's almost King's Row, and I know it's like the basic and everyone's really comfortable with it and things of that nature. We have seen others used in it, which is interesting.
Most people just don't like them. That's the problem, is like Kingsfall is the only option that most people like.
You have Eichenwald and Blizzard World that other teams tend to like, but it really is a preference. But King's World is the default. But nevertheless, starting off Bishop Kelly, only needing one more to get the first point here in a best-of-5 situation. I like seeing Orisa. Might be a good counter to negate the picks that the Hog's looking to get with environmental kills, but
they're already mowing him down, too. I mean, Hog has some great regen, but that's already a lot of damage for Hog to be taken, and he's out. Ooh, Oriso's able to push forward, keeping the DPS off the point.
I could see this Pharah being fairly effective if they end up getting some really good damage off. because, you know, they don't really have too many DPS that can effectively field the Pharah. You know, Jumpy, I was about to say, I think Jumpy should be relatively good at doing it. He's actually very effective at getting rid of that Pharah there.
He was ready and waiting. He was like, I know what my job is. Meridian Tech does manage to make their way onto point. They're starting to make some headway. Orisa is just, they got to push their Orisa out. They might be able to cap here. They do cap. And they start to push forward. It's going to be really good if they can push back Bishop Kelly.
Meridian Tech did capture the point here, so they did manage to push Bishop Kelly a bit off, and now trying to get the Environmental able to withstand it and not get pushed off Kelly, not allow them any entrance on this. It's Environmental or just jumps off the map anyway. They're going to get the elimination of the Bastion here, but I think it's too little too late at this point, and Bishop Kelly's going to regain control. But there is a solid amount of contesting here by the side of Meridian Tech.
Bishop Kelly having that ultimate on Orisa was a really good way to get rid of Ramatra there, and I think that helped them out a lot. I mean, with only one tank now, it's just a lot easier to push past once you get rid of them, especially with the support being taken out as well. But it looks like, ooh, they tried to go for a boot.
Ooh, wow.
Soldier's taken out. He was almost at his ult too.
No.
Oh no! Goodbye, High Velocity. You tried really hard, but Orisa said no. Oh, that's the one thing I really don't like about that map is that center, like, pit to the void, essentially. Just so frustrating to deal with if the other team knows what they're doing.
Still in control here at 60% here. Ooh. Oh, able to escape barely, but only has 103 health. Trying to run away, get some healing for the passing by Lucio. And now they're right back on point. Annihilation is available, so is Barrage. And he's going to get an environmental kill. Taco Bell's going to get the environmental. And there's Barrage as well. Doesn't get a whole lot of damage, but gets a couple characters low. Visor gets committed, gets the finishing off. Trying to be effective here. Annihilation is yet to be committed, but they do have Tyre. And Orisa has a second as well. It gets committed. Doesn't get a whole lot of damage there. Let's trade to trade, and there goes High Velocity again. Not for the second time, and the second environmental. Meridian Tech is not loving this map right now.
Yeah, this is not a good map for Meridian Tech, and they end up losing the first one to that, which is my heart. But good for Bishop Kelly to be able to push through that.
They end up. It's looking like a fight, which is what I would like to see a fight. I would like to see a fight because so far the past two matchups that we've had have been steamrolls. Have been like 3-0s back to back, and I do got to bring it up. I hope it's not King Rose. Is it going to be King's Row? Yes, probably. Very high likelihood that ends up being
We are aware of that fact, even if it makes us sad.
Even if it makes us sad, it's reality. We'd have to deal with it, but a pretty scrappy fight to the end of it, nevertheless. And both times it's been Meridian Tech that's been able to gain back a little bit of control, but inevitably it is Bishop Kelly that ends up holding on to it. And the fact that I think it was a grand total of like 4 environmental kills happened on that map. Yeah. Okay. A different one.
My
An
gosh.
Overwatch 2 match. It's a bit of a switch up here.
That's pretty great going into this.
I believe this is
now
New Queens. Yeah, I'm actually not entirely sure.
Now, the thing here on this map, though, that we have to keep in mind is this really dangerous corner right here. How Meridian Tech deals with this is going to be really important for them because it can be so hard. And it looks like they're just going to ignore it and just go up, which is definitely a good spot, though Sigma is kind of waiting for them right there. Yeah, they're not going to want... Hammond's going to push through, go all the way to the point, force Bishop Kelly to have to back up a little bit if they want. Tracer trying to dive in as well, with Hammond just trying to cause as much chaos as possible right now.
I was wrong. It is not New Queen Street. It is Midtown.
Yeah.
I was on. Not entirely familiar with the new maps, but I got it down nonetheless. Got a little bit of tick so far on the side of Bishop Kelly, but Meridian Tech able to hold their ground so far, pushing up here, trying to take advantage of some lone DPS, but getting supported. The sleep goes out in the Sigma.
Yeah, we can see that this corner of the street here can be so dangerous for the attacking team as they get pushed back. I have seen this kind of be a make or break for a lot of teams. Like how they're able to get past this spot is kind of a defining area because it's so easy for the defending team to lock it down if they play it right.
And I do sort of like this push over to the right side here because the really big thing is gaining this high ground here. And if your ball is able to effectively do it, they might be able to gain that high ground advantage to you. The Junkrat goes down. It's effectively a lot of damage. Now they just need to trust the tank and push out, get into cover. And, I mean, that's the big thing with this ball. That ball needs to get in here and start causing some chaos and allow their team some more ground to push into it. And currently right now, High Velocity is not able to do it, and it's probably going to go down right now, in fact.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, him pushing up to the point is definitely helpful because it's splitting the distraction, but it's not giving Meridian Tech the opportunity to push forward right now. As you can see, they're already being pushed back once again to the safety of the right and just like the back line here. Sigma just holding down the fort. Looks like Bastion and Baptiste both have their ults. With Junkrat, Sigma, pretty much the entire Bishop Kelly team is on their way. Same with Meridian Tech. This might come down to an ult fight here. We'll have to be really careful going forward. Ooh, High Velocity taking a lot of damage from the Bastion, too. This Bastion has been really good for dealing with Hammond.
There's so much damage here of even if they, I feel like the big issue here is the Hammond's not really being a main sort of blockade. Able to get a pulse bomb kill as well, though. This could be the big opening. But there goes down the Tracer and the Hammond as well. The mines aren't going to buy them any space or any time. There's just so much damage on the side of Bishop Kelly that it's probably a little bit scary for you to make this adventure. Okay, they do gain high ground here, which is what I was getting at, is they might not be able to do it, but they have a high ground here. So if they can get
Bastion,
under or over this team and gain some more ground, they might be able to get some touch of the point as they get down to the final minute.
Yeah, they need to get rid of this Junkrat here too. He's been a pain for them to be dealing with. Meridian Tech is able to take this high ground. They start to push up a little bit from the side. Riptire goes out, though. They need to be really careful here. Meridian Tech having to back off almost completely from that train tunnel. And he takes out the Brigida with it.
Yeah, some trades. Going to lose down and support. We're going to lose it back. Finally, for a second time, I believe that's Mr. Boogie going down. Dragon gets committed as well. Trying to buy some space in this last second here. Might have been a little bit better used to wait and just get a last second touch using the Dragon as your way to buy it in.
Oh, once again, that Bastion is a menace.
Yeah, just going to be able to go into transform mode and get into it, which I feel like I see a lot of these teams do, is they use these ults either not at all or preemptively. Like the clock starts counting down. I think that's the one thing that I see a lot with collegiate teams is they're so coordinated and so confident in what they do. They know they can wait till the last second to get a touch on the point and know the rest of the team can follow through with it. Luckily for them, their ball is able to get on point, and a massive purple comes through. But no eliminations for the side of Meridian Tech yet.
Yeah, both teams hanging on. High Velocity starting to lose health is taken out. It's now just Lucio trying his best to contest right now. Oh, looks like Sombra is able to get in, but just not a lot of health for them to go around. So Bishop Kelly is able to take the first round. I do think I agree with what you were saying about the ultimate usage. I think another thing that you'll notice with teams that just are still learning is that they hold on to their ults very preciously. They don't use them as often. Something that I have to remind myself whenever I play a competitive game is you don't have to wait to use your ultimate until the very end of the game.
Yep.
If you play it right, you will get it over and over and over and over again. And so it's better to use the ultimate when you think you need it than to think that you'll need it later.
Yeah, and there definitely are times where it is extremely effective and extremely ineffective to use an ult. Like solo ulting somebody is traditionally not a very good idea, but I do sort of agree with you.
Being precious with multiple ults that work well together when you're in a tight situation, not a good idea. Like, if you're stuck at this corner, you haven't taken the point, and most of you have your ults, you should try to find the situation to do it. Don't wait on it. It is going to be infinitely better for you to have a minute on the clock taking that point than 5 seconds.
Yeah. I guess as a scenario that we can realistically take a look at is the use of that Dragon there. Nevertheless, the team of Meridian Tech was able to get a touch on the point there. But I would have loved to see the Dragon get used, because Dragon, more often than not, unless comboed, isn't able to get a whole lot of kills. It's more or less, to my understanding, an ultimate that can gain you a lot of space and split up a team and force them to, sort of take different routes. So I would have loved to see that ultimate be used with the team instead of for a solo purpose, but nevertheless, Bishop Kelly's kind of on a roll right now, as immediately wasting no time is able to push through a checkpoint that Meridian Technical was not able to do. And while they haven't entirely pushed through it yet, and there's an elimination going through on their main DPS, this could really slow down Bishop Kelly's ability to push through this. But they're able to keep their tank alive here, kind of staying each other off. Accretion doesn't get any value out of it, goes past. Not able to push through quite yet. There's Mr. talk about getting elimination on the enemy Sombra. Both teams down 1, but Bishop Kelly's going to get back that Sombra relatively quickly.
Yeah, Radiant Tech is able to keep hold on the point for now, but that was definitely tight for them for a little bit there, and it looks like Bishop Kelly is going to swap out Mr. Boogie. He was on Sombra. He's now back on Junkrat, which is going to give him a lot more damage that they'll want to be careful of. Oh, the Junkrats are going to be facing off a little bit. Meridian Tech was not paying attention, so but they are able to catch him with a nice utility use.
Trap gets triggered up in train. They now know somebody's there. Jumpy's going to transform. Going to try and get an elimination here. Gets a lot of damage. He's going to get one on Wild Pants here. The Sigma's also very low. Accretion gets the stun. Now in a very bad position. Oh, but the Bishop Kelly tank is purpled here. Gets the sleep on Mr. Boogie. This could be big as a free elimination here.
Yeah, Boogie almost going down. High velocity. Needs to be careful. Oh, Baptiste activates his ultimate. Tries to create some space for his team. They're able to take out a support. And I think cap the point there,
yeah,
unfortunately, for Meridian Tech.
They definitely capped the point there. They only needed 1 tick, which as soon as those 2 supports had to run away and, or effectively get eliminated as well, that was going to be game there. And that's Bishop Kelly now 2-0 when it comes down to it, and 1 game away from closing it out.
Yeah, which will be interesting to see going forward. It looks like the resistance that Meridian Tech was able to put up in the first round started to slip a little bit, so I'm not sure whether or not they're going to be able to kind of push through with this next area. It is payload, so it's a little different, but at the same time, the big thing here is going to be who manages to cap faster, I think, for that first area. If either of them manage to get to the first checkpoint, it's who can do it faster, because just as much distance as possible is the goal. And I think similarly to what we talked about in the last Meridian Tech match, locking down the defense, trying to get one team so they barely get any distance, and then just having to get past them is going to be the important thing here.
Yeah, especially with Bishop Kelly being on the defensive half here as well. They sort of get to play really strong defense, which they've been doing so far. And it seems to be, sort of a trend, so to speak, of the team that ends up being on defense, ends up putting the other one on a pretty good stomping. It doesn't allow them to push very far, and then seemingly does what the other team couldn't do very fast. So into this escort here.
Yeah, let's see. Okay, going forward. Wild Pants trying to make some space for the team. Is able to keep the payload going, but Winston takes out one of his supports, which is not going to be good going forward. Looks like the Bastion changed to a Reaper for this, but just they're taken out really fast here.
Yeah, this comp just looks so independently and so fine working independent as well. This Winston is going to dive back. We've already saw it happen twice to both the supports there, so they've got to be a little more careful there. I'd love to see the Ana work in combination with the BAP, in terms of making sure that our mortality saves their lives, and the sleep is almost always available for when the monkey dives. It's right there. It gets the Reaper very low. He's going to be able to jump away, and now the Ramacha being low as well. And the switch onto the... Well, the character's... The robot monk. Wow, I'm completely blanking on that character, but the switch there is very interesting, as Bishop Kelly's practically touching the spawn doors of Meridian Tech right now. As Meridian Tech has about 2 minutes left, so there's really no rush here, but they have yet to find a foothold.
Yeah, no, Meridian Tech just keeps trying to pop out, but they're just outnumbered at this point, is what it feels like looking at this. They just don't have a lot of places to really go. I mean, looking at this comp right now, I mean, we've got Winston, who is just keeping them back. I mean, having Mei there too, locking them down. Like, I mean, the freezing is so good. If you just want to keep people in your place, just freezing them is so just potent for that. I mean, walling up the spawn, they're controlling where they're going right now. I mean, you can see Meridian Tech brings out Transcendence, and they're going to try and move forward with it, but they're not able to make a lot of space for themselves right now, which is their big struggle. Just, they don't have space.
Yeah, they try to force on the beautiful Mei wall, stops the Reaver from going in there, and now they're just going to charge in.
Ooh, that
Mr.
Junkrat.
Jumpy.
I will say, well done on that. That was a very nice throw.
That was, the ice wall, the whole combination of it, and using Transcendence in that implication, I get to save your life as a Zenyatta, as the healer, but to use it in such a brief sense that you use it so fast and your team's not able to take advantage of it is so hurtful to them, because that's such a good support ult that is now off the board, and effectively, Meridian Tech won't have to worry about it for the rest of the remainder of the time, if, as long as they don't cap a checkpoint.
Yeah. Oh, Reaper trying to be a little sneaky here. He's going to try and get behind them. Gets
this could
them.
be it.
Oh, the Mei does avoid it. And he does try and push forward. He gets nanoed, but he's taken out. They do start taking out Bishop Kelly players. That's 4 down. Meridian Tech creates the space they need.
That was finally the play they needed. Using the Death Blossom didn't get nearly as much value from the Death Blossom as they're hoping for, but nevertheless the Nano. It was just the fact that they created a separation of space between the characters, got the Mei super low, got the Bat super low as well, got pushed into Wild Pants and ended up being eliminated there. But even so, Meridian Tech's got quite a bit of distance to push it here and only about 9 seconds left. Bishop Kelly has the ultimates to do it. Beat goes out. They also have Snow Globe as well. And that's going to be.
Yep, Winston just kind of, they broke the formation in Meridian Tech. They do manage to push it more, though, so that's good for them, but it's not a lot to be able to defend, that's for sure. They're going to want to try and lock down Bishop Kelly similarly to how they were for most of the game, but I think it's going to be kind of hard at this point.
I imagine Bishop Kelly would have loved to lock it down from the very beginning, because then it would only take a one team fight, but at this point, pushing it that far, I imagine will only take them 2 team fights, like 2 really committed team fights. Honestly, they could probably do it in 1 if they manage to push Meridian Tech. Meridian Tech almost has to strong arm hold them here, because they don't have the room to wait.
They don't have any room to work
They don't have
with,
any.
yeah.
They can't push all the way back to that bend part where
No.
you see most teams play, because that's about as far as you've got. So you've got to strong arm hold them here. They also are down a player as well. They lost not support DPS.
Yeah.
So it's up to Mr. Taco Bell. They've got to put the team on the back right now.
Mr. Taco Bell on the Mei with Wild Pants on Ryan. Baptiste in Zenyatta. I mean, it definitely has the lockdown potential. I think the biggest problem, of course, is just they're outnumbered here.
It's gonna be a massive difference in the way it plays, but nevertheless.
And I'm gonna be honest, I feel like if Bishop Kelly just put a more dive-centric character on their team and just sneak past Meridian Tech, I wouldn't be shocked if that just worked out in their favor.
So far, every team we've seen play dive knows how to do it very well, because it is one of those scarier things. But I do like Wild Pants just sort of pushing here, gets supported by the Mei. They might be able to try and take out some people here early. Wild Pants going to retreat to try and help, and now the Mei's sort of out in the open as Boogie's going to get the elimination on the Zenyatta, and there goes down the other support as well. Now effectively, it's all going to crumble from here. And
yeah, the problem is, it's right there. So
not even another team fight here. Right?
Yeah, Meridian Tech just doesn't have the speed to get back. Yep, you can see Ryan's all the way over there. The Widowmaker's trying to make up it, but it's too late.
Yeah, that was unfortunate for them to be down a person, but also nevertheless, Bishop Kelly time and time again. Even if I do honestly think, even if there was the second DPS, Bishop Kelly just looked to be the stronger team, and it's sort of an indicator to me when I see a team play dive. It tells me at least they're confident with that.
Yeah, they're confident enough as a team to pull off a dive, and because there's some timing involved with that one.
Even if you play dive bad, it's one of those things of, if you're doing it, you're at least confident enough to pull it off, to a degree, and more often than not, it seemed to work against these other teams. Drop-In Gaming is a superior online platform for gamers who seek competition and play their favorite games to win cash and prizes through free and paid matches and tournaments. Whether you're new to the scene or a seasoned veteran, Drop-In Gaming is the right games and competition for you. To begin a competitive gaming journey, sign up at dropingaming.com. So as we just finished out week number 8, now going to be heading into the playoffs here. We saw Boise take it. We saw Meridian Tech take it. We did not see a Meridian Tech W night. Bishop Kelly's to take it, but you can't have everything you want. But nevertheless, we've got to move on to the conversation of player of the game. Personally, I think I got to go with one of the tanks that I saw, which honestly I think would have to be the Meridian Tech tank.
Which one? King Swiffer?
King Swiffer.
Yes. First tank. He played 2 games. I will have to agree with you on that one. I also would like to highlight Mr. Boogie because that Junkrat was insane. But
it's not Milk,
actually, Oh, it's from Boise State. Yeah.
Another tank from Boise High.
He was a very effective tank.
Yes.
His Sigma plays were really good, and he helped Boise High do something similar to what Meridian Tech did, where they just shut down both, like, all of their opponents, which is kind of the similar things that we saw between both of those teams. So there'll be an interesting matchup going into this, being so close ranked. Yeah,
being so close to together, seeing, and that was what happened last time as well, of seeing those two teams play again. The ICCU player of the game is brought to you by the Idaho Central Credit Union, who believes a great player makes the team more successful, just like Idaho Central is helping members achieve financial success. It's not Milk. It's your Idaho Central Credit Union player of the game. And I do love Boise's we don't have pictures for the players, but
I love the icon. Yeah.
I love the icon. Putting in the effort.
We really need to know that it's not Milk.
It's really not Milk. So shout out to production for being the stellar crew that they are. Any final thoughts before we wrap up week number 8 here?
I think in general, just from all 3 matchups that we saw, there was a lot of really good gameplay, and I think that for the 2 teams that had just really no trouble with it, just keep doing what you're doing. You're definitely going to be going up against each other and each other's biggest enemies. For our final match, I think it was a really good route for Bishop Kelly, and they just want to continue to work on their team coordination, as you're talking about with the dives. You've got that figured out. Just keep working on it, and you can definitely make a comeback in these next weeks. And so I think overall, all of the teams played really well for what they were dealing with. So, yeah.
Yep. Totally 100% agree. And it ends up being the end of week number 8. We have 2 teams that I would honestly say are the ones to keep spotlight on. We have Meridian Tech and Boise High School that are going to be the ones to put a stopping to. And, if anyone can upset them in the playoffs, it'd be absolutely massive to see. But we close out week number 8 and push into the playoffs here. We are going to leave you the top 5 plays of the game represented by the Idaho National Guard, who invites you to take your impressive critical skills into real time with more than 10 jobs offering a $20K bonus and your degree of choice paid for. The Idaho National Guard is the best team out for you. Go ahead and reach out to them at iGuard Twitch Gaming. We're going to leave you the top 5. Have a good rest of your night. See ya. Get rid of the Mercy, but the Mercy's so evasive and elusive. Ooh. Comes out from Farah.
Oh, Ryan tries to use his ult to save him, but unfortunately is not able to. Boise High just kind of cleaning up the field to get out of overtime. See, Winston is hanging on a lot better than Ryan was previously, but without a lot of backup, he has to retreat, try and heal up. But his Mercy is taken out, and so is Winston. Ooh. Just like before, Boise High is able to kind of rout Jerome right after they seem to.
Appreciate and I do like. They're trying to do something different here. Entirely going in, trying to get some early damage, trying to get a pick here. Window was committed as well. They're not able to push past it, or they don't have any abilities that can really force them off or away from that window here. And, Rigby with some constant swips here. Here's the Bastion as well. And they have no ultimates close to being 4 of their own going into this next fight if they manage to prolong it long enough. Now they got 2 here.
Yeah, I do think they still have a really decent distance, but that was such a bad nade for them. And Roadhog activating his ult, just pushing him back, denying them any ability to just try and take the payload back. Transcendence, and they're going to try and move forward with it, but they're not able to make a lot of space for themselves right now, which is their big struggle. Just they don't have space.
Yeah, they try to force on the beautiful May wall, stops the Reaver from going in there, and now they're just going to charge in.
Ooh, that
Mr.
Junkrat.
Jumpy.
I will say, well done on that. That was a very